Hello everyone, I am Vaughn Lensington, and this is my first Wugle making YouTube video. So I figured it's my first one on YouTube, I'm gonna have to do some YouTube characters, and what better way to start off than Hazbin Hotel. I'm going to show one of the ways that you can make a Wugle for Charlie, and if you'd like to follow along or try any of your own techniques, I would love to see them. The first thing that I do is I make a Wugle shell, which is in the back there, which is just a larger sphere and two smaller spheres for limbs. I kind of interchange with each character whether those little spheres in the front are going to be feet or arms. In the case of Charlie, I want to make her suit jacket, so we're definitely going to do arms. I use the garlic press to use on my white Sculpey, and that helps press it into nice little portions that I can use for hair. It's also very handy if you need small, precise measurements for things like when I split up the eye at the beginning of this video. So I'm just lining a bunch of the strands up and packing them together. And then I realize that I'm getting ahead of myself because I should probably work on her jacket and her suit shirt first, because it's a little easier if you have to put anything kind of resembling clothes on these, especially if you're going to put something on their little feet or arms. You should probably do that ahead of time, especially being able to pick them up and stuff like that. You could mess up little details you put into the hair. So as somebody who's been doing this for a while, just saying, probably don't want to do the hair first. You're going to get annoyed at yourself when you pick it up and you mess it up. So I just rolled out some clay really thin. I've got this, I know that you're probably going to look at how I'm handling that knife and think that I'm crazy. It's not as sharp as it looks, I swear. It's just a butter knife. It just looks like it's a steak knife. So I've got one layer on top of the other so that when I cut this all out, once it's painted, it's going to look like the two layers of having the suit jacket and the shirt underneath. And you can start wrapping this around the bottom and just make sure you get it in really tight and really close. When you meet at the bottom, you just cut the piece off so that you can use it on the other side and smooth this part out. And then you just repeat the same thing on the other side. Next, I'm going to try to make the lapel, and the easiest way is to just make a V out of the clay that you have rolled out, and just kind of place it up against the body and make sure it's roughly about the size that's going to fit in between those two arms. Yeah, I can cut this down as I go. So I'm going to cut some tiny triangles so that it looks a bit more like a lapel. Alright, now we can just cut this down to size. Oh, still too big. Well, it's better to start off big and cut your way down, because you'd hate to start this whole thing because you started too small in the first place. So there we go, that's better. And we can just kind of fit that into place. Charlie is the smartest dresser. Just saying, gotta love her style. Next, I'm going to make her a bow tie, so I've got kind of this needle tool that I'm just using to kind of make these little hearts I'm tapering off with my fingers, and then I'm just gonna stick these two hearts together. And just pop that up, and that's a bow tie. Going back to the hair, I'm going to add a few strands so that it kind of starts shaping around the left side. Quick haircut to even everything out. And then be careful because it's not actually one nice piece, it is several tiny pieces. Keep it all together. Get it wrapped around her head. And then since she has a ponytail, I'm just gonna pop this over and tuck it back. Before I get to the ponytail, I'm going to do those 3 curls on the side of the head, and there are a whole bunch of ways that I could do this. I'd love to see if you guys try something different. You could try lining the clay up in a line like we did earlier and just using a knife to kind of cut that squiggle, but I thought it would be more fun to kind of make that squiggle. Because that's the technical artist term, right? When you're doing your hair, getting that perfect squiggle. And then I get one more strand here to kind of not only blend it in, but also hold the whole thing together. Oh, we gotta do that one lock that falls out of place on that side. Yeah. Okay, bangs next. This one I'm kind of going for that thing I talked about earlier, just lining up the clay pieces and just cutting the shape that I want. I want that bang swoosh. And just curl that around my finger. And smoosh that into place. Alright, next is the ponytail. This one I'm just taking a bunch of nice rounded looking end pieces. You can kind of taper off the ends and squish that right into the back. I've also kind of scored the back of it to make sure it holds into place. And forgot the knot on the bow tie. Gotta put that tiny little speck of clay in for the knot on the bow tie. And at this point, all there's left to do is bake the Wugle, let it cool down, and then paint it. When you're painting, don't be afraid to try out some shades, even if you're not 100% sure if you have something right. It's going to take several layers to get it to look right, so you can at least put it down and see what it looks like, and that might help you in making your decision. But you also don't have to be tied down to doing a classical color scheme. You can do the pastel version, the grayscale version, the neon 80s version, the glitter version, the metallic version. You can do anything you want on the painting stage and really kind of add your own character to the piece. If you're interested in seeing some of the other Wugles that I've done before I made videos, I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can see some of those. Leave a comment below and let me know what kind of characters that you'd like to see that I haven't done already, and maybe I can add those into my future videos. Remember to subscribe and ring that bell, and you'll be the first to know which videos are going to be dropping next and which Wugles are going to join Charlie on the shelf. At the end of every episode, we'll put a Wugle on the shelf, and hopefully we'll fill that shelf up together. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next time.